Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend D.G. Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes, or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Jam DeMatteis, and you are listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Let me try again. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another week of Electric Mullet, the Superman podcast. I am Phil. It's a really manly week of steel here. Myself, of course, Justin's here, of course, Tyler's here, and of course, we're talking some Superman. Of course, we had to include at one point or another Mr. James Cole.
It's mullet time.
Hey.
So we have the entire Krypton report here. So we got a full house.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
All right, everyone. So this time we're going to be covering the stuff from the Legends crossover, Superman issue 3, Adventures of Superman 426, and Action 586. So I read through. I was like looking through it. It's been a while since I'd read Legends, and I was just like, should we do the actual miniseries? And it's like there's not a ton of Superman in it, especially what happens in these issues. He gets taken out of it for a while because, of course, there's like a ban on superheroes for a while, so Superman's like, I better not do too much stuff. I don't know. There's not a ton that goes on there, except like when they reintroduce Wonder Woman, like after Crisis. That's like her first post-Crisis appearance, supposedly.
Right. I read these out of order. I didn't realize there was an order at first.
Yeah, this was like the first time before even Triangle numbers where they actually used all the monthly books to tell one story basically.
Yep. Because I read the first part, then the third, then the second. Because when I got to the other book, I was like, okay, this is weird. What I missed? And then I read the other one. I was like, oh wait, this is supposed to be the second part. I was like, well, maybe I should have read this in order. But yeah.
Yeah. When I looked it up on DC Universe, it said that the next one was 426. So I got lucky to read it in order.
Oh, did it tell you where to go? Because I swear when I read after the end of 3, I didn't think it said to go any. 426 was next. So
yeah.
The covers had the Legends chapters.
Yeah.
That's true.
The covers had the Legends chapters, but the just the description said that the next issue was Adventures of Superman 426. So I was like, oh, okay, well that's the second one.
Yeah.
And then those chapter numbers on the cover.
Yeah, the chapter numbers, and I figured that's the way they were releasing them back in the day. I think Superman came first, then Adventures, then Action. I did it. It lucked out, but yeah. See, I'd have thought I just lost it. All right.
On the app, when you get to the end of number 3, at least it did for me. It tries to get you to read the collection again.
Oh, the volume 3. I know.
It keeps pushing
trying
in
to
the
go for that collection
all the time. Yeah.
Which half those collections. Well, is that the point? Because you have to get Ultra for some of those to read some of those collections.
Yeah.
I guess they're like, hey, if you really want to read it in order, you have to get Ultra.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wish
I've enjoyed my Ultra.
I just wish it would let you pick, because what I told you guys before, where I had the issue where I got to the end of Superman, I think it was 1, and it kept prompting me to President Luthor, and I'm like, no, this is not what's next.
Oops.
I just want to read the next issue.
Yeah.
If you like this, you might
get very confusing if you read that in that order.
I had that issue before when I was doing some research where it took me the wrong way, and I was like, wait, what did I miss?
Yeah, I mean, I swear, the DC's app and even Marvel's app, they both could use some work, just...
big time, yeah.
And again, they should just give you an option to hit a button and go to the next part if it's in a different book, especially once they get the triangle numbers. They should just, do you want
to go to the triangle, or do you just want to go to the next issue and the number?
Yeah.
Yeah, we lost James. Crap.
Oops.
What did we say? But yeah, that's what they should do. It's just like, give you the option of like, do you want to stay in this series or do you want to go to the next like public, published issue?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I know.
They'll eventually fix it. It'll just
Yeah.
take them a while. It'll take more people petitioning them to do it, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, the Legends thing, like I said, there wasn't a ton there. I mean, again, it was mostly like, reintroduces Wonder Woman at the end. I saw a lot of like Shazam and Guy Gardner, so there wasn't.
And there
like,
was the underlying thread of G. Gordon Godfrey.
G. Gordon Godfrey, as we'll get to, yes.
Doing his stuff, yeah. That was the underlying plot thread that tied them all together.
All right. I was gonna say, should I jump in or should we wait for Mr. James Cole?
He said he had a hiccup with his internet. He'll be right back.
Okay.
So we could start, or we
All
could just sit here and chat. And just how's your day, Phil?
Oh, great! I had middle school orientation for my son, so I'm feeling especially old.
Because he went into 5th grade, right?
He's going to 5th next week. Yep.
See, I found out the same thing with Solomon's school.
Oh,
is
yeah.
that 5th grade is counted as middle school. Because he made a comment about it, and I was like, and my wife just kind of hit her even harder, like, oh, because like the terms of middle school even sooner, like she was like, oh.
I know. That's like I know. I know. I'm old. Back in the day, we didn't start till like 7th grade.
Oh,
It's
really?
Yeah.
It's weird how some of them, like, there's even schools here where they've broken it up and you'll have like 6th and 7th or 7th and 8th or like 7th, 8th, 9th or like it's intermediate schools.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have elementary, middle, intermediate, then high. And high school's always like 10, 11, 12.
4 different schools. Yeah.
Jeez.
Just the way they want to like trying to spread kids out
Yeah.
Yeah.
and not have them. But it's all within the same, system. But it's just weird how sometimes they're like, they get to that point, like, now we're just going to mess with how it works.
I think it depends on the size of the building too. Like I know Luca's school, the middle school now, it's like each grade kind of gets their own hallway, and then
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Like a different wing.
yeah, and then I don't know if they really see each other. Except, well, I think even lunches they like keep like each grade like their own lunch and stuff. So
Oh, really?
Weird.
yeah. I was telling Justin before we jumped on that we were walking down the hall and I saw I see a room at the sign up front says podcast studio. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
You have that in your school?
Yeah. Last year at the high school I was working at, the kids in their media class had to record a podcast and they had like a little podcast booth for a studio.
I love it.
And like I got invited to be on a podcast that we talked about Skittles.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's what I told him. I'm like, man, I can help you out with that. But yeah, because I was trying to look inside. But yeah, it looks like they had like 2 like big desks. They had a couple microphones sitting there in like spots where you can like hook up a laptop and stuff. So
Oh, nice. That's cool. I love it.
I was like, you got to do that, boy.
He's like, no, Dad, I hate podcasting.
Nah, if you get him,
Feels like, oh, you stabbed me in my heart.
no, he'll sit there and talk sports or like PlayStation all day.
Welcome to Lucas Podcast on PlayStation.
That's what I said. You know what? That's what I told Ray last night. I said, I think Luca and his son Finn, I think they got separated at birth because Luca's all into sports. He even bought some soccer cards yesterday because Ray's all into soccer. And then meanwhile, Ray's son Finn was mocking him about Batman the other day. So I'm just like, I think they got separated at birth.
You're like, what happened here?
I would have paid money to see that video. Just have video of like Finn saying, "Don't Ray, ha, Moon Knight, Batman's better than Moon Knight, ha ha ha."
It's funny.
Oh, man.
Probably the little kid Australian accent, ha ha, Batman.
Yeah. The end of it is so hilarious.
I just the look on Ray's face, like,
Yeah.
haha, father.
I love Batman.
There's Mr.
There he
Cole.
is.
There we go.
Hello.
We missed you.
Wi-Fi hiccup.
Stupid Wi-Fi. I know. I had the other week. I had to go out and get a new router.
I need a newer computer. I've got the computer plugged in, but I can't seem to get it to want to do video as well as stream over the internet. For some reason, it says some other things are using it, but it's not, and it's just I haven't not figured out how to get it to do it yet. So
James is going to murder his computer.
I was going to say, if it makes it any
Yeah,
easier.
I'm gonna Office Space it once I get a new one.
Oh, nice.
I'll wait for you, Tyler, since you
Sweet.
gave it to me.
Sweet. Let's do it.
All right.
All right.
So James is back. Let's jump into these issues. All right. So Tyler, the first one was Superman number 3.
Got it.
From
Which was the first one I read.
Nice. From March 1987. Legends from the Darkseid, and Darkseid spelled the right way, not like, oh, I'm a fancy intergalactic dark god. Of course, writer and penciler John Byrne, inker Terry Austin, colorist Tom Zayuko, letterer John Costanza, and editor Andrew Helfer. All right. Lois Lane arranges for an interview with G. Gordon Godfrey to find out some background information on him, but Godfrey shies away from personal details and continues to spew his anti-hero propaganda. Meanwhile, Clark Kent is racing through the streets of Metropolis trying to avoid being struck by 2 twin laser beams that appear to be specifically targeting him. Due to a presidential order suspending superhuman activity, Clark refuses to change into Superman. He dives into the sewers where he hopes to avoid the death rays, but the twin beams strike him, transporting him to the planet Apokolips. Darkseid is standing in front of his personal palace along with the Phantom Stranger. The ruler of Apokolips is disappointed that his teleportational Omega beams brought him this normal human rather than their intended target Superman. He blasts Clark out the window, presumably to his doom. The Phantom Stranger sits idly by, doing nothing, knowing that the fall will not harm Superman. Superman lands in the ruins of Armageddon, where he is... get it? Armageddon.
I love it.
Where he is put upon by the maniacal diseased citizens known as the Hunger Dogs. He fights past them and dons a grimy cloak so as to blend in. He finds a group of Darkseid's shock troopers preparing to publicly execute a woman named Amazing Grace. Not so sweet. Superman frees her from her tormentors and sends the shock troopers scattering. One of them summons a giant armored adversary known as a pacifier to attack Superman. Superman tears the pacifier armor open, revealing a slimy alien Glommer. The Glommer is a parasite and it latches onto Superman's face. As the Man of Steel struggles with the monster, they both fall into one of the nearby fiery pits. So, that's that one.
Cliffhanger ending.
I don't know. Look, Tyler got scared. All right, so... All right, thoughts on this one? I'm like, boy, they were really telegraphing that G. Gordon Godfrey thing, where it's just like, he's like, oh, it's glorious. I'm glorious. I'm just like, okay. But Mr. James Cole, thoughts?
In my experience, I've always known Glorious Godfrey as a minion of Darkseid. Spewing his rhetoric on Earth. Sowing that distrust. So it's just, I've always known of that character. So like, I guess if this is like a somewhat introduction post-crisis, it's like, I already know where it's going. Like at this point, I'm like, oh, well, it's not like reading it for the first time. just in that respect, I do like how they discuss how he has some influencing powers. So, but I thought that Superman playing off as Clark Kent on Apokolips was pretty comical.
Oh yeah, I just love him running through the streets and just like diving over stuff and
dodging people. I can't guarantee your safety. Get out of the way.
Going into the sewers. Yeah.
But yeah, just playing up the, who are you? I'm the man. He's like, I'm the man. You sent me back to Earth. And Darkseid's like, who are you to demand?
Yeah, I did like that thought bubble of his where, because I'm not sure if this is, I'm assuming being post-crisis that this is like a first interaction with Darkseid that he's had. The speed of Darkseid, how he didn't even see him come, how he didn't even see him reach for him before he grabbed him by the throat and lifted him up. It is something that you don't get to hear about that much. You don't get as much thought dialogue these
Mhm.
days. So you don't get the reactions to something like that, like the descriptions of how powerful Darkseid actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so it's so weird. It seems like he didn't realize how fast Darkseid is and stuff. I'm trying to remember if this is because he seems like he recognizes Darkseid when he shows up, but he's like, oh, he moves so fast. How can someone move that fast?
Yeah, he knows all about, like, later on in the issue when he's flying through Armageddon, he's got the inner dialogue where he's talking about how the new gods, how, like, New Genesis and Apokolips were created by the destruction of that ancient world. And he's talking about High Father and all those people. So I guess maybe it was like a legend throughout the galaxy, maybe, that he heard about or something, and maybe never actually traveled there for whatever reason.
It's like one of those like holes where it's like, yeah, how much do we know? Because it's right after Crisis and stuff, and
yeah.
Or 'cause I was gonna say this wasn't Cosmic Odyssey yet, was it? That didn't happen. Oh no!
I actually have that saved on my list of books to read.
Yeah, no, that's the fall.
I was later.
I think that's the following year. So yeah,
I think that's after Millennium too, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, Tyler, we were just saying for number 3, it's like it seemed like Clark kind of knew who Darkseid was, but he was like surprised. He's like, "Oh, I never knew he was this fast and stuff." So it's like, like, is this the first time he's meeting him post Crisis or no?
That's what I was going to ask you guys, because that's what I thought. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, he knew all about the new gods and all about New Genesis and all that stuff. So and he was surprised to see, like, the debris in the asteroid field or whatever where New Genesis was supposed to be. He's like, what happened to the world? Is it destroyed? So he knew about this stuff somehow.
It's weird.
It might be an untold tale at this point because remember, I mean, I don't know if do any of you guys read those annuals? What year was that? It was like 95 maybe or something, where they did like all the DC books did like a year one, like for all the characters. And Superman had 4 of them, and I think I'm trying to remember. Was there one where he met the new gods or something? I can't remember, but
it feels like it.
Yeah,
I'll have to go back and check those
and
out.
That's why, like, reading this the way we are, I just find very interesting because there's something you just kind of assume, like, it's post-Crisis, everything was rebooted, but you realize there's not as much of the clean reboot as you thought, or were led to believe in these stories.
Right.
Look, this is a perfect example where we're debating, like, wait, has he met him before?
Yeah. How did he know about these people? If he was raised on Earth, how did he know about Apokolips?
But again, it's like the Byrne time jump, because remember we did Man of Steel. There was time jumps in there, but then after Man of Steel, we jumped how far ahead to Superman number 1. So
yeah,
makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, there was but again, like you said, James, it's like, yeah, you kind of know who, if you've read a DC comic, before Crisis, you know who, like, Glorious Godfrey is and Darkseid and all them. But that is funny. Like, they like play up his powers in the beginning. It's like, even Lois is like, hey, boy, she's like, I have to, like, tell myself, oh, I don't like this guy's message. He's very persuasive.
Right.
He's so charismatic.
And again, except for that first scene with Lois, it's like, and like Clark running through the streets, we really don't get much Metropolis this time. No Lex this time.
And when did this presidential decree happen?
It was in the Legends miniseries.
Okay. That's what I thought. But I was just kind of like, okay.
Because that's like what Glorious Godfrey is parading around as G. Gordon Godfrey, just basically saying, oh, superheroes are dangerous and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird because, like, all the books had, like, Legends crossovers and some, like, barely, like, were part of the Legends. I mean, Batman and Robin were, like, in the Legends miniseries, but, like, the Batman book, that was the issue with Magpie, and it's just,
Magpie, yeah.
The only way it's a Legends crossover is, like, G. Gordon Godfrey shows up for, like, a page or two.
Right. It's just,
and that's, like, the only way it's a Legends crossover.
Yeah.
Like, the final panel of Darkseid laughing hysterically.
Oh, yeah.
It's really creepy.
So good.
I don't know why. It's just irritating because, like, it's Darkseid laughing.
That guy.
The art in this one is so good.
Oh yeah, the Byrne.
I love the depiction of the Armageddon and, like, all the citizens, like all these ragged, wretched citizens, like, clambering over Clark and tearing at him and stuff, to the point where he has to, like, throw them all off of him. Love it. I love it so much. Yeah. And the whole thing with the pacifier, the armor, great stuff. Yeah.
Like that splash page with the pacifier. I was like,
Yeah.
was Byrne going for some Jack Kirby there?
That's what I thought. Yeah, it looked very Jack Kirby-esque. Yeah,
I mean,
good.
I could.
Yeah. I mean, out of all of the books, I do enjoy it all taking place on Apokolips. You know, getting that Jack Kirby look to the planet and from the new God characters. They're all drawn pretty classic.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I guarantee you, Byrne, because like a lot of those guys, especially I think of that age, they're like, you know, that Kirby was a big influence on all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
hell, DC, Marvel, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Kirby was the man.
King Kirby. But yeah, I mean, that's just funny, like when Clark hits the ground and like all the hunger dogs just like start swarming him and like ripping the clothes off. So the next thing you see, it's just like Superman busting out and they just like ripped his clothes off.
Yeah. And he has to find some rags to clothe himself in because everything is so nasty looking that the bright blue and red costume sticks out anywhere he goes.
More than usual.
Well, heck, yeah. He even talks about his skin sticking out.
Oh yeah,
his,
the aura,
bioelectric aura protects his skin from like even getting dirty. So his hands and his face won't even stay dirty.
He's the cleanest person on Apokolips.
But yeah, just see, and then the whole thing with Amazing Grace, which we'll get to more of that. But
yeah, that's good stuff too.
But yeah, just that thing that comes, that glamour that pops out of the armor, just like attaches itself to Superman's head.
Yeah, that surprised me the first time I read that. I was like, "Wow, what's this?"
I like the cover art.
Oh yeah,
Superman by his cape.
Yeah.
So simple, but so good.
Yeah. Very effective.
I'll have to go back and look, but I'm sure in the print copy, it was probably in the letters page to say, oh, hey, next read Adventures. But it's like, yeah, it's like if you read it on the app here, it tells you nothing. The last thing you see is Darkseid laughing, and it's like, doesn't even say to be continued nothing. It's just Darkseid laughing.
As I was flipping the pages, and it just like, it went from there to the volume 3 collection. I was like, I went back like, hold on, let me make sure, check the page count. I was like, okay, there's not even a final page. It's like, that's it. That's cut off, you're done.
Yeah.
Yep. It's so weird. It's so weird because you're just reading like, oh, that's the end of the story.
That's it.
And again, it doesn't even take you to issue 4. It's like, here, you should read volume 3.
Yeah.
It doesn't even say, next next chapter or whatever, adventures this week or adventures 426 or nothing.
Yeah, no, like I said, it was probably in the letters page. I don't know why they just don't scan in and put all the letters pages in, because
I know
those would all be interesting to read, because sometimes they do. I mean, does DC, I'm trying to remember if DC does that at all, because I remember, what were Lilith and I read? Oh, it was like a Daredevil issue, and they actually put like the letters page in there, so I was like, well, it's possible.
Yeah. I even like, because one of the best things about reading old comics is the ads.
Oh, I would love the ads if they put,
like for video games and toys and all those like kid foods that they try to sell you in the 90s,
TV shows and things. Yeah.
Get your Dunkaroos and your fruit by the foot.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh yeah, especially like late 80s, like the 90s. It was like early 90s. It was like video games. It'd be like, oh hey, Super Nintendo or
Super Nintendo's, Sega Genesis.
Get your Game Genie here.
Game Genie.
Oh my God, Tyler, you saw Blue Beetle, right?
Yeah.
All right, James, I don't know if you saw it, but like when they
I did.
Oh, when she pulls out the power glove.
Yeah.
Like one of Ted Kord's weapons, like it was like an electric shield, like Captain America had like that photon shield just in it, but it was like it was like made out of a power glove.
Okay.
She's like hitting buttons. I was like, oh my God.
It would have been awesome if there was something about like Kord try to do their own video game system and it just like
it's really right. Yeah, Ted Kord's gadgets and stuff are very like homemade, inventive. They make it a particular topic about his his character, his personality, his sense of humor.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because wasn't it George Lopez's character said something like, "Oh, it's like he was," or no, someone said, "Oh, it's like he was he was Batman, but if he had ADHD." And then George Lopez, that's what George Lopez goes, "Batman's a fascist."
I love it.
Oh, sorry, I said the magic word. Yes, he said Batman's a fascist.
Batman, my favorite character.
You're welcome, Ray. He won't even say Joker now, huh? What's he call him, Justin?
Mr. Hee Hoo Ha.
Hee Hoo Ha. That boy's got issues. All right. Show me on the doll where Batman touched you, Ray. All right. Should we get to the next issue?
Sure.
Show me where the fictional billionaire touched you.
I was going to say, do you have a Burt Ward doll?
Oh! Oh! Please.
That's a good one.
Adam West wasn't touching him. He was touching all those Catwomen. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Lee Merriweather.
Julie
and
Newmar. Yeah.
Julie Newmar. Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they said Burt Ward had to beat off the teenage girls with a stick, you know.
They didn't say what stick.
Whoa!
Through time travel hijinks, James was the stick.
Oh!
He was first double.
All right. Remember the Capes and Lunatics protocol, Justin. We just blame this all on love.
Makes sense.
All right. Adventures of Superman 426, March 1987. From the Dregs. Writers Marv Wolfman, Jerry Ordway, and John Byrne. So,
Wow.
Yes. Penciler and inker Jerry Ordway, colorist Tom Zayuko, letterer Albert de Guzman, and editor Andrew Helfer.
No Costanza on this one.
No,
It's funny that's there's so many writers on that book, but it feels like the least wordy chapter out of all three.
That's true.
I wonder if Burns just on there to be like, okay, this is where I left them last issue. This is where I need you to put them before I get to part 3.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
the actual comic, it just lists him as a co-plotter.
Yeah.
An actual writer.
So maybe it's more plot, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the Hunger Dogs recovers Superman's body from the fire pits of Apokolips and brings it to a group of lowlies in Armageddon. One of their leaders, Amazing Grace, steps out of the crowd and helps to revive Superman. Superman seems to have lost a significant portion of his memory due to falling into the fire pit. Amazing Grace proclaims him as their savior. The Hunger Dogs rally behind Superman and feel that he is the one that will lead them to victory and overthrow Darkseid. Darkseid witnesses the spectacle and sends a squad of parademons to break up the rabble. Superman leads the Hunger Dogs and they make a strong show of force. They all begin crowding in the street and they feel courage and hope for the first time in years. But their strength and victory is short-lived. A second, more massive wave of parademons swoops down and obliterates thousands of Hunger Dogs. This is all according to Darkseid's plan. He wanted the Savior to build them up to the moment of supreme hope, just so he can knock them back down, a defeat of the spirit as well as the body. Amazing Grace reveals herself to not be the leader of the Hunger Dogs resistance, but a willing accomplice of Darkseid. She uses her hypnotic powers to sway Superman to her side. After the slaughter, Grace brings Superman to Darkseid's palace. Darkseid smiles and regards the Savior as his son. And we totally glossed over, that hot tub scene between Superman and Amazing Grace.
Yeah.
So.
Superior puss!
But I'm just, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of subterfuge there. So I'm like, was that? I mean, technically, was that a rape of Superman?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I mean, I'm sure.
Oh,
wow, James got so excited. He
had the button so excited. What was that, James?
I said, I'm sure in the moment he was willing.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. But again, it was like, what?
I mean, If he would have known who he was, he would have made the choice not to. But I think in the moment he was ready to go.
I mean, he was single, even if she was just, was this resistance leader. I mean, that would have been fine. But then she was one of Darkseid's people. So
I don't know what you guys are talking about. Nothing happened. She just went to kiss him. He pulled back, and he just sat in the hot tub while she stood there in front of him. That's all I'm seeing.
She just grabbed that bar of soap. Okay.
Yep.
Rereading that, since we have gotten Damian Wayne into our lives, it made me think about the possibility of what if he impregnated her.
Yes.
And then after this story, she gave birth to an Apokolips Superman baby that grew up on Apokolips under Darkseid's thumb.
Oh, no, don't give them ideas.
There we go.
I mean, that might be.
There we go. That's how we get two Superman sons in the comics.
Yeah.
Just go back to this story because it's canon now. Go back to this story and write now a new child who's.
And that's how you get.
He's like the opposite of Orion.
Right.
That's how
the opposite of John.
A Darkseid, yeah. A Darkseid adversary for John.
Yeah, Darkseid raised Superboy. Darkseid raised Superman.
Yeah. With Amazing Grace as the mom and Granny Goodness as the grandma. Yeah.
Can't be any more of a dick than Superboy Prime, I'll tell you that.
That's true.
Superboy Prime's the only one that can defeat him.
But yeah, I mean, that would. I mean, if nothing else, that'd be an interesting like Elseworlds or Black Label.
Yeah, Black Label.
Dang it, Justin! Now you got everybody thinking here.
People don't come to the Capes and Lunatics to think, Justin. Come on.
DC got you a pitch.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, DC, you listen.
For real.
I'll come up with a script for you if you want.
I swear
we'll be back next. Dude, we'll knock it out quick.
I swear, I don't know about DC, but Marvel listens to us because the little Hellfire and I once a month talk to D.G. Chichester, who wrote Daredevil in the 90s, and we said, boy, you should write like some current Daredevil, or they're doing a bunch of those miniseries set in the 90s, and guess who's doing a Daredevil miniseries set in the 90s? Yes. D.G. Chichester. So you're welcome, Sapolsky. You're welcome, Sapolsky.
And Phil is the ghostwriter on there.
I said I don't even want any money. Just like credit us in the book somewhere.
Two characters, podcasters on screen.
Exactly. Yes. That's what me and Lil said. Yeah, she wants to do. She said, "Make us heroes in cloaks." I said, "No, I could use the name Capes and Lunatics." Come on.
I do think it's interesting how
I want to be in a comic book like Ray was. Damn it.
Yes. The Darkseid statue and make it into the Superman statue.
Oh,
I liked that touch. That was nice, yeah.
And then, like, his cape, he rips it, makes it a flag. I guess that's his cape. The symbol doesn't quite, it looks bigger than it should be on the cape, but whatever, we'll go with it.
Yeah.
And, he's now got this new apocalyptic, like, Centaurian outfit going on.
Yeah, which I was happy about. Anytime he's showing some more leg, I'm all about it. The only thing I couldn't really get into was Jerry Ordway's Darkseid. I thought his Darkseid looked a little weird to me. And maybe it was just because we had a couple of John Byrne stories bookending this.
I tell you, the weirdest looking Darkseid is in that very last panel where he's smiling. That's where Darkseid is when he's smiling.
Yeah, it's strange. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's in the eyes. I think it's the way he does the eyes. Like something about it pops a little different.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what part I've actually liked in this is the one panel or one like page we get where Highfather goes and like communes with the source wall.
Yeah, that's cool.
He says, "Indeed, Orion, where is it? It says the source has spoken." I think that's very interesting.
Yeah, let the truth be written for all to see, he says. Yeah, that's cool. I love that.
By the owl on the wall, it is 10 o'clock.
That's it.
But yeah, this issue is neat, but it really does feel like the middle chapter. Just like you said, like it's just like here's how we get from him falling to the fire to him being by Darkseid's side, and then it's all Amazing Grace.
Right.
I mean that was a pretty cool scheme, though. Just the way Darkseid has it work to anybody who's susceptible to the idea of rebellion against him, basically, got them all riled up, got them all together, followed Superman, followed the Savior, and in the end, it just corralled them all into an area after a bunch of them had been killed during battle and had them all just blasted by flying over parademons.
Smooth.
Like, that's a dark scheme.
I mean, I get the idea of it, but yeah, that like Roman centurion suit Superman's wearing, really, I don't know.
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
The frilly stuff coming out of the shoulder and the lower piece, like it looks weird. Yeah, I like the helmet piece. I like the piece around his head, I liked kind of the weird breastplate that was still kind of had the S symbol on it. I thought that was kind of cool.
I know, but that's weird. Why would you put the S on the breastplate to like
I know.
remind him?
I guess.
I mean, the S
for
was
Savior.
for Savior.
Right.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right.
Savior, a.k.a. slave of Darkseid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where they got the Alexander the Great chest plate for the first season of Smallville. That's where they got that idea.
Maybe, yeah. But, yeah, I think they just needed the story to last a month. So, yeah, Tyler, this was very middle, basically like, okay, you got to get from here to here. So,
Right.
which it wasn't bad, but what did you guys think about, like, Superman it's like psychosomatically loses his powers when, like, he lost most of his memory?
My thing is, like, does it just muscle memory? He knows how to use his powers? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't remember, but yet he's completely comfortable with using his powers.
Yeah, but it's like the flying and the X-ray and like the heat vision and all that I get, but it's like when the guy puts like the torch to his hand, he's like, ow, my hand burns. I'm like, you shouldn't have to remember how to use the vulnerability should just be there.
Right.
Should be more
It
like,
should be
doesn't
kind
burn.
of passive. Yeah.
Should be like,
his
wow, my
strength
hand
as well.
doesn't burn.
I mean, unless
Like his strength, he should have been like knocking those people like into oblivion during that big battle.
because I would say that, I mean, they didn't mention it, but I was like, is Apokolips under a red sun or something?
That's why I always have
Oh,
issues
I
when
didn't think of
Superman
that.
like goes to like other planets and stuff, because I'm always like, how are you maybe not going to have your powers? Like, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, it was like that one sun when he went underneath that orange sun, he was kind of like paralyzed. And then, when he goes into the fire pits later, he comes out like supercharged, like the god of strength. So in the Darkseid War, so like they do whatever it needs to do for the story at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Just needs to figure out how to take a tanning bed wherever it goes. But yeah, just we're gonna obliterate. They get everyone together and just obliterate all those hunger dogs. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, it was cold.
All right. Any other thoughts? Should we get to the last part of this?
Get to the last part.
The last part, the Action Comics, Tyler.
Yeah, love this one.
All right. Action Comics 586, March 1987 again. The Champion, same team as the Superman #3. Lightray and Orion travel to Apokolips to confront Superman, who is now brainwashed into thinking that he is the son of Darkseid. With Darkseid restoring Superman's knowledge of his own powers, the Man of Steel goes to attack Lightray and Orion, mainly focusing on Orion, who reveals to Superman who the real son of Darkseid is. Meanwhile, Amazing Grace tries to seduce Lightray with her power of mesmerizing speech in an attempt to kill him, but fails as he uses his light powers to stun her. Orion's mother box restores Superman's memory as well as his original costume, and he flies into a rage. Darkseid, who is about to punish Grace for her failure, realizes that Superman is no longer under his control. He uses his Omega Beams, and they fly all around the city, chasing Superman. Superman leads them all the way back to Darkseid and dodges, and they hit him. Darkseid, injured, begins burning Superman with his Omega Beams. Superman breaks free from them and attacks Darkseid, pummeling him. He knocks Darkseid across the room and flies toward him again. Darkseid opens a boom tube in front of him, and the Man of Steel flies through it and goes back to Earth. All right, thoughts?
Well, my question is, I'm more curious, like, does Amazing Grace ever show up again? Because, like, she is not one I was familiar with when I think of all the people that are around Darkseid. Like,
I think I've heard the name before, but yeah, I don't know if she's played like a big part in any other story.
I wonder if she was in that New Gods series from the 80s. I didn't read a whole lot of that, but I know that
curious
these
now.
characters in it. Yeah.
I'm trying to look her up here. They're saying this Superman 3 was her first appearance, so that was her first appearance.
Maybe not her last.
Hmm.
I've never heard of her or seen her. Like, I don't even recall her being in the Furies book.
Yeah, I mean, it just says that she still serves Darkseid. You know, I looked at her little biography here. They had this story.
all right, Justin, you got your story. After this, because the last panel is him
She still
holding her up,
exists.
he knows that she's pregnant and he locks her away.
Yeah.
And after she gives birth, he kills her.
Yeah.
And that's the story that we're going to have to
That's
go
it.
with.
Yeah, that's it.
Definitely Black Label.
I mean,
Justin, I'll be sending you my plot outline script tomorrow.
Yeah.
Working on it.
I love it.
I mean,
Let's do it.
I mean, it works. That's why you could say, "Oh, well, she hasn't been like in a big part of any story
Right.
since then."
Like
It's
he
like
locked her away because she had to give birth, and then
she's either locked
Yeah.
away or she's taking care of that kid. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you had to put her in a special place so the kid wouldn't burst out of her.
Mm-hmm. Right. Or maybe she died during childbirth. Maybe that's how it happened.
Nah, Darkseid kills her afterwards.
Yeah.
Blames it on the peasants so that the kid would be raised to hate him.
I like it.
Blames it on a battle with Orion or, High Father.
Mm-hmm.
imagine explaining that to Lois. No, babe.
You remember so many crises ago?
I know. Yeah. No. It was before Death Metal. Yeah. No. It was before Infinite Crisis. Yeah. No. It was before Zero Hour. No. Go back. Yeah.
Keep going.
No,
Keep
you
going.
you just have a scene. You have a scene of Clark and them back in Kansas at church with Ma and Pa, and they start playing Amazing Grace, and Clark just starts scratching his head like something about that. Just the sound of that. It just something.
Right.
I'm like, Clark, why do you always tear up at this song? There's just something about it.
Something about it. I can't put my finger on it.
It's so boobiful. I mean, beautiful. But I mean, or does he even remember? Because don't they say they take like part of his like memory of like what happened here, so he doesn't have to like live with the knowledge of like all those like hunger dogs dying because of.
Yeah, at the end, Orion
Yeah.
says that when they restored his memory, they didn't restore the memory of him leading all the hunger dogs to slaughter.
Oh, yeah.
Orion saying he's a warrior and that that's a burden for him to bear, and that Superman's a champion and he shouldn't have to live with that grief.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he forgot about that whole encounter too.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, in the plot, him getting down with Amazing Grace, that was a burn part of that plot. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
That's why his name's on there. That's the only thing he wrote in the story.
Yeah,
He's like,
right.
hold on, guys.
Hold on,
This is
Marv, you have to add in this sex scene. What? Yeah. The kids love it. Yeah.
Right.
The kids love it.
Yeah. Look at all my works, man. Yeah. Skimpy clad women. Yeah.
How many times has Darkseid been hit with his own Omega beams?
I think it's interesting how they're like white.
Yeah, I would notice that too. Yeah. I wonder why.
Or artist choice. I don't know. Or I'm trying to. The Omega beams are most of the time are they the same color? I was going to say, does he have like different color beams for like? Because like it was teleportation, and then at the end of this, he was just like trying to blast Superman and kill him or something.
Right.
So
most books that I've read over through the last 20 years is like they're usually red.
yeah,
The beams
orange.
are usually red, and the effect is what is his intended effect, whether teleportation or destruction or what have you. But
Or the magic wand make his monsters grow.
but what?
Like in Power Rangers. Just
Wow.
makes the monsters grow.
I do think that's like a funny panel there where like Superman's coming in the back wall and you see like Darkseid turn his head and the Omega beams are still coming out of his head. He's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
see, that's why I like the one animated bit during the Darkseid fight in Superman, Batman, Apokolips, when the Omega beams are chasing him, or maybe it's Supergirl they're chasing, but she actually grabs him and uses him as a shield because they're still coming after her, and they go right at him because she's behind and blast him that way. Because like otherwise they move around, they even go around people who they're not intended to touch. So it's always funny the way he just suddenly gets hit by his own Omega beams.
So that's the defense. Yeah, you have to dive behind Darkseid. Yeah.
The interesting thing here is like they kind of use the ability here to cause all this agony using his beams from his eyes. They kind of use that in the series finale of Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah, it like has these like fire gold beams, and then Clark just like bat slaps him. You talk too much.
And I mean, I'm always one that's like, don't drag out a story, wrap it up quickly. But I'm like, did this seem like this ended kind of quick?
It did. Yeah.
I mean, he's like instead of fighting, he's like, and portal.
Yeah. It was 2 pages of a battle, and then he opened the portal and whisked him away.
Oh yeah, you can tell Superman's close to beating him because he's like, yep, bye. Yeah.
What surprised me was that Orion and Lightray just kind of waltzed around, and they're like, "Hey, Darkseid, how's it going? Where's Superman?" And then they're just having a chat, and then they just leave. I found that to be really weird. I don't know why.
I don't know. There's always like weird truces and stuff, but I'm just like, oh, are you just like, yeah, I'm really not feeling like going toe to toe with Darkseid today, mate. You know, it's just like,
let's not do this today.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know.
Dark's like, I just got beat up by Superman, so you know, just you can go today. I don't feel like fighting anymore.
You got a free pass today.
I know. Yeah. I can see, Darkseid's probably hurting. But if you're Ryan, aren't you like, man, you know, Superman probably put the whipping on him. I might be able to take him at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been like, here's our chance.
He's hurt.
Let's whoop his ass. Yeah.
Yeah, but then he calls up like 10,000 parademons or something.
Well, yeah, I guess. But they could have at least like wailed on him a little bit. It would have been cathartic.
Yeah, and he sends everybody after them. Yeah, because aren't they hurting? Because wasn't it like New Genesis is destroyed at this point or something? So
yeah, I forget when that happened, but I guess it had happened at this point. Yeah, I don't even remember how that happened. Do any of you? I don't remember how that planet got blown up.
Unless was it in Crisis?
Oh,
I don't know. I'm trying to remember.
Maybe the Anti-Monitor did it.
Yeah, because it is the fourth world, so it's outside of space and time.
I'm trying to remember because I know Darkseid did make an appearance in Crisis, but I can't remember if they really did a lot with the New Gods or.
Not that I recall.
No.
He made an appearance, but they kind of were just like,
even he's afraid of the.
We're gonna stay here because the fourth world exists outside of everything the Anti-Monitor is destroying. We're just gonna let that happen.
I want to see like the stories of like Darkseid getting just frustrated of like having a battle with like one Superman and then like another Superman from another Earth shows up. He's like, "No, you're not the one I want to fight today. It's this one on this
Not
Earth.
You.
We don't have beef right now." He's like, "Just this one," or just like him fighting like all day. Like he turns around, there's another Superman. He's like, "I just fought one of you. Fight another one." They're like, "No, Darkseid, he will fight me." He's just like, every day a different Superman.
The Red Sun Superman.
Well, you know, if in the New 52 he didn't just go from multiversal Earth to multiversal Earth and kill Superman and destroy those planets, then he wouldn't have a different Superman coming after him every day.
It's cause and effect.
Yep.
What? They made new weird choices in New 52? Get out of here.
I enjoyed the Earth 2 series. It was pretty crazy.
That one wasn't bad, yeah.
It was interesting.
I don't know, just some of the stuff, like the Superman stuff, I was like, bring his marriage back, come on.
You know, the Grant Morrison stuff, yeah.
I mean, Grant Morrison's a good writer, but...
Yeah, but I'll pass on a lot of that.
So, all right, so, yeah, I mean, other thoughts on this? Superman goes back to Earth and finishes off Legends, so... I think they said these three take place between Legends 4 and 5, so out of 6.
It's like I said, it was interesting, especially when you see that it's all three work together.
Mm-hmm. my question is how much time passes from the time he leaves to the time he comes back? What's Earth like when he gets back? If he has led a rebellion to destruction.
It's been like 10 minutes.
It's been like 10 minutes.
Pretty much, yeah.
You do the math.
He was on Apokolips for like 3-5 years, but Earth,
like 10 minutes.
Earth, like they hardly knew he was missing.
It's the fourth world is a different time stamp too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh no! So then, when that kid comes back, the kid's going to be older than he is.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah, crisis stuff, time manipulation, shenanigans like that. Kid doesn't age; he's cursed. I don't know.
Oh, jeez. Could be. Oh,
he's got half Apokolips DNA. It's entirely possible.
Yeah, he just aged to a certain length, but he aged slow because he's part Kryptonian, and then he just stopped aging.
Just stopped altogether. Yeah.
Once he got so powerful.
Yeah.
Yep.
Killed so many people.
Yep.
It's like that old joke of people who name their kids after where they were conceived. So, yes, look out for the menace of Hot Tub L.
Hot Tub L. Sauna L. I love it.
Well, again, a lot of these kids, it seems like they were conceived through trickery. Because they're like,
heck, they said it was a healing bath. Is it back to tank L?
Oh, nice.
Back to tank.
Was he drugged like Bruce Wayne was?
Pretty much.
Well, essentially, yeah.
Drugged with amnesia. But yeah, no, I just found it interesting because it's the most different thing we've done so far. Because we barely got any Metropolis. That's just that quick scene with Lois and then Clark running through the streets.
I love that. It was a nice little detour.
Mm-hmm. And we'll
have plenty of Metropolis coming up after this. I don't think after this story he travels very far.
I don't think not until he leaves Earth around Invasion. I don't think. Yeah, so I think that's the next time he really leaves Earth for any amount of time. All right. Other thoughts? Anyone have any final thoughts on this?
Nope.
Yeah, these are all really fun to read again.
No, I'm just looking for the sequel with the evil L child.
On that. We'll have to get to work on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, somebody has to remember it, and again, there's been so many crises between there and here. I mean, they can still make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, come on. They brought Connor back.
Right.
Yeah, we got 2 Superboys, 2 Supermen. We got Steel, we got Supergirl, we got Power Girl.
Superwoman, right?
Does Lorna still have her powers? I don't know.
Currently, the Super Family, Superman, Superman John Kent, you got
Supergirl Kara is Superwoman.
Oh, yeah.
So she's just not using the Supergirl name, she's using Superwoman.
We got Power Girl, yeah.
Yep. Me and James had a pitch to throw out the book. A team-up book should be Con Keenan, Connor, and Power Girl.
Oh.
Kind of the 3 outliers of the super family who kind of have this weird identity thing going. And
I like that.
Or even just Connor and Power Girl would be interesting.
Yeah, those 2 mostly, they have that, they have mostly that identity kind of issue. Where do they fit in, as well as not.
There's already a version of them existing, so it's
right.
Who am I?
Yeah. I like that idea. That's cool.
And they both kind of got forgotten after New 52 for a while and stuff. Yeah.
Connor needs his own moniker. I've been saying that for a long time. He needs his own name.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing. It's DC, they have a thing where they'll do 20 Superboys, 20 Flashes. Yeah, everyone shares the same name.
I'm John Kent. I don't like the John Kent Superman. Nope. He should be Superboy. I don't care. And
it just makes sense. Yeah,
Connor needs to have his own name. So
yeah.
So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. All right. So next, so next time for the next 2 weeks, Nightwing News will be back. Kristen and I'll do new Nightwing stuff, and then we'll do from here Nightwing 54 and 55 from the Chuck Dixon run, and then the Mullet will return for 2 weeks. Next time, of course, we'll do Superman 4, Adventures of Superman 427, and Action 587. And then the week after, Superman 5, Adventures 428, and Action 588. So that'll be October. And then in November, we'll do all those miniseries we're talking about, because we'll do 3 episodes that month. The World of Krypton, the World of Smallville, and the World of Metropolis. So
Nice, yeah.
Cool.
It'll be cool to do those. I haven't read a lot of those, so that'll be nice.
Yeah, I don't know if I read those. I read the one issue of World of Metropolis, but yeah, I don't know if I've really read those. And of course, before we go, Mr. James Cole, you are welcome. You have an open door invitation. Just let me or Tyler know whenever you want to join us.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
He just pops in like, hey, I didn't read anything. I just want to say hey.
Yeah.
I really don't care. I mean, he's a Superman expert. I don't care. Yeah.
He just pops in, pulls up the book like, yeah, man, like, yeah, this issue. Totally.
This one looks cool.
This one was great, yeah.
I'm not going to be the man to tell Mr. James Cole no. All right. So, yes, kids. All right. Send us your thoughts on this, on all the upcoming stuff. Email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737 at 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can find all things Capes and Lunatics, episodes, social media, merchandise. The link to our Patreon, where right now you can hear all of Lilith Hellfire's drunken thoughts on every part of Heroes Reborn from Marvel in the 90s. So, go sign up for the Patreon. Join the Patreon elite, like many, including Mr. Justin
Like
here.
me, yes.
So,
Join me in the Patreon elite.
So find it all at tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network. That's tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network. All right. We'll go with Tyler and James first, because Justin, you have 20 plugs. All right. All right.
Sure.
All right. Who wants to do the Krypton report plug?
James. He never gets to.
Well, it's the Krypton Report everywhere: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm Superman Red _KR everywhere. Find me.
And I'm with James on the Krypton Report. You can find me at Krypton Report or at JTY Patrick.
So yeah. So if you need more Superman content, go listen to Krypton Report with James Cole and that other guy.
Tar being in James' shadow.
Tyler does most of the work, man.
That's all right. I mean, that's all right. What does James
say? That's how CEOs work, though, right? Everybody else does the work.
Amen. I hear that. Amen. I hear that. James,
until the next episode.
James Cole just rolls in like a little Hellfire Justin, and you're like, I'm here to look pretty and talk. All right, let's go.
Next episode, James, where are you, James? James got disconnected.
Been disconnected. All right, so Krypton Report, kids, for more Superman content. It's always Superman over there. So yes, check out. I think Tyler likes Superman.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. All right. Now we get to Justin, who, he joins us here every twice a month for Electric Mullet. He joins usually once a month on the last week of every month on We Are the Night, the Batman podcast. Talk some Jean-Paul Valley. We're working through Night's End now, and then we'll get to Night's End, and then next year we'll get to the Azrael ongoing series. And he also joins me every week on Marvel Tales over on the other feed, where we talk something different Marvel every time. We just recorded a Silver Sable episode with Ray.
Yes,
so,
Silver Sable in the Wild Pack.
If you want to get Ray's attention, you either pick an episode with his favorite one of his favorite characters, or a scantily clad 90s female character, and Ray will be right there.
And he'll be there.
Mm-hmm.
He's there.
Mm-hmm.
Just say Ray 3 times in a mirror. He'll be there.
If you want a podcast with Ray every single week, start like a Tigra podcast or something, he'll be there.
Yeah, Black Cat one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Justin does all that with me, but he also does more podcasting. So
yes.
Tell him where they can find you and that crazy Russell.
I have a couple of other shows, one of which I co-host with my pal Russell. Gamma Charge, the strongest podcast there is, where we talk about everything to do with the Incredible Hulk and She-Hulk twice a month. And we're covering the brand new series by Philip Kennedy Johnson and Nick Klein, which is excellent. We also have a Patreon if you want to check that out. please do so. And Russell and I are also joined by the aforementioned Ray and our pal Sparky over on Predator and Prey, a Yocha podcast, in which we talk about everything to do with Fox's Predator in comic books, action figures, movies, and more. And last but not least, the Lost Library of Legends, the project I've been working on for over a year.
What's that?
Is almost done. Almost done. I'm not going to jinx it by saying that it's ready, because every time I do that, something happens and it's not ready. So I'm just going to say it's almost done. It'll be here soon. Scream at! Exactly.
Cock-a-doodle-doo. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Another good episode.
Time to put the mullet away, guys. Put it back in.
Yeah, I was going to say that Gamma Charge, the strongest podcast there is. Yes, that is a Hulk podcast, not a Mr. James Cole podcast. So.
You have to be clear about these things.
Oh, Lilith always tells them, she's like, it's the strongest Marvel podcast. Because she says, she's like, Superman can beat Hulk every time.
It's true.
I agree with
that's
that.
That's how she weeds out pretty boys in her personal life. That's one of her questions. She's told me, she does, can Hulk beat Superman? And if they say yes, they're out the door.
I can't blame her for that. I can't. like there's a lot of opinions out there, but if that's one of yours, you're just wrong.
There's a lot of opinions, and then there's facts.
Right.
And then there's truth. And James
That's
brings
right.
the truth.